Hello, friends. We got a little bit of stuff to go over today. I have a guest, my friend Chad from the UK. Chad, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
And yeah, we're just gonna kind of just go through a couple things. It's Friday the 13th. I'm sure you're all up watching some Jason Voorhees. I'm just kidding, probably not, but. I wanted to go over the Twitter algorithms. I wanted to go over some Freemasonry things. I wanted to talk about the royal family and talk about Mark Zuckerberg during his testimony. He was doing some weird things that I'm going to stay kind of creepy on this podcast since it's Friday the 13th. So I'm going to step in here real quick and I'm going to go over the Twitter injection, and then we'll start chatting up with Chad. So right here,
Yeah, yeah.
11:44, Twitter down, injection good. So if we look right here, it says this is on the Great Awakening subreddit. Q told us that they have the algorithm, and now they injected Twitter with that coding IMO, removing the censorship or at least neutralizing it. Now we can post anything, or as Trump asked us to do, post memes. Did Trump ask us to post memes to test the waters, make sure that it was working properly, and if it is working properly, is the stage set for the release of the HRC video? If the cabal can't stop the memes, they can't stop the release and spread of the video. Kind of obvious, right? The stage is set now. So pretty much when I think about this, a lot of people, kind of backhand the thought here and there that Q and Trump are not this close. But this validates that even further, that they are that close, that we have Q talking about the Twitter injection, and then we see Trump tweeting about the putting meme in the word members. So obviously he wants meme warfare. Is this to set the stage? I do not know. It's pretty crazy though. If you want to check, there's some stills in my last podcast I put out about Hillary Clinton, and it's pretty crazy stuff that might be coming out. But are you, Chad? Are you on Twitter? Do you do Twitter?
No, I don't actually use Twitter. No, that's one I never signed up for.
Do you hear about people getting censored over there on any social media?
Yeah, it still happens here, and that they sort of censored the journalists who are sort of leaning towards the right and things like that. It's not happened to myself personally. I've sort of tested it a few times, like post things I think Facebook might want to shadow ban or remove, but it doesn't seem to happen to me personally.
Right. Yeah. Well, I asked a couple people on Reddit
Yeah.
and on the Great Awakening, and they said that that every social media platform has been lifted, or I don't know about permanently, but for the time being. So I really
Yeah,
hope
well,
so, because the censoring is just, people can't even talk anymore if you lean right or even have an open
well,
mind.
well, they were speaking about that with the Zuckerberg thing. They were asking questions about that directly, weren't they?
Yes. Yeah, they were just talking just about Twitter, but I asked the question onto Reddit um, if you saw, if they were going to relieve the censorship um, from other social media accounts, and they said that they've been seeing it. So let's hope that
Yeah.
lasts. Um, so next thing I wanted to show is this right here. This gentleman definitely found something here. This is from Mark Zuckerberg's testimony, and I just want you to watch his eyes real quick. I'm gonna take it off speaker, so hold on real quick, Chad. Okay, I wanted everybody to hear this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so here's our friend, Mark Zuckerberg. Pay attention to his eyes. Zoom in right now so you know. This is a real-time video. Zoom in on that so you know nobody's playing with this, because you can see it when you just pinch the screen and zoom in. But I'm going to zoom in for you. Look at this dude's eyes. Look, did you see that? Look at it. They went vertical to round. Vertical, there it is, to round. And I'm going to slow it up again for you so you can see it. This dude is a fucking reptilian, dog. I done told y'all, man, stop playing with me. Look at that. Reptilian, vertical slits. Slowed up for you. Look, vertical.
Yeah, definitely see it.
Changed right there. It changed right in front of your eyes. These people exist. All right? It's not just the rich and elite people. It's regular. Look at it. Look at it. There it goes again. It's regular.
So I find that to be extremely crazy. You'll see the video, Chad, when I post it.
Don't you say send me that? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's I mean, this dude just recorded it from his cell phone, from his, just from his phone.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, there's no editing or anything like that. It's basically just a zoom in, and you can definitely see this dude's eye do something really weird. I'll post the link to that video in the description below.
Yeah, please.
But very, very strange. So, like we were saying, it's Friday the 13th. Everyone knows that. And you said that you know a little bit about the Masons and how the Masonic, the group, Freemasons, and how they tie into Friday the 13th. If you want to, talk about that real quick.
Yeah, well, what it is, on Friday the 13th October, it was 1307, was when King Philip IV of France ordered them to be arrested. Like all the Knights Templar were arrested, which ties in with the Freemasons, and they were charged, and a lot of them were killed on that day.
Yeah, they were looked like they were. It says were burned to death on a slow fire on a stake outside.
Burnt at the stake, yeah.
Outside of the Notre Dame Church in Paris.
Yeah, very famous church, yeah.
Yeah, so that's and it says what does it say? After a long time in prison, they're talking about the successor, and of unsuccessful trials to get an admittance of guilt, where even hard torture was involved. When the flames from the stake where he was tied up reached him and he started burning in his dress, he proclaimed in front of the assembled Parisans, here you see innocent people die. Then he turned toward his 3 present executioners with the following cry of prophecy. Compare the first epistle of Corinthians 14:1. I am calling you King Philip the, what is that? 1:5. So it's King Philip the Sixth. I'm not sure. Of France. No, that's what's V.
One V is 4.
4. King Philip the IV of France. I am calling you Pope Clements the Third. What is V? That's 5.
Yeah.
Okay. I am calling you Prime Minister to appear within 1 year from today in the court of God in order to receive your legitimate penalty. Curse be to all of you, cursed until your 13th generation. So this is pretty crazy. So this is where Friday the 13th comes from. About just burning people at the stake. Why did they do this? Do you know?
Yeah, very loosely over it. It's hard to remember, and obviously I apologise. I'm half asleep. It's quite late over here.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's I can't even think why it was now that it was ordered. I think it was the Pope wanted it done. So he got that king, was it Philip, to send the order out. Because they were getting too much influence, and the Catholic Church didn't want them, you know what I mean? They were gaining too much sort of influence, and they were scared that they were going to sort of encroach on them.
Oh man, check this out. So right here it says, so after this person that was burned was screaming this, he said, then he fell dead down in the ashes in the red hot coal of the stake with his forefinger upright to the heaven of God. The arm in the hand with the upright forefinger stayed in this position. The Parisans thought that this prediction was also valid for them, and therefore they feared the number 13th, and Friday the 13th started to expand out over the world. But the prediction did not concern the innocent Parisians of other human beings than the three judges and their families. The king fell off his horse and died before end of the year. The pope got intestinal obstruction and died at the end of the year, and the prime minister hung himself before the end of the year. Their three families are reported to have lived in misery ever since. Our generation can be regarded as the 13th. So that's why everyone's like, bad luck, bad luck. That
I
is
haven't heard
so
about
crazy,
all that.
man.
That's interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on about that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you were bringing up to me the royal family and how the queen, how the royal family could be tied to Nazis. Is this true?
Well, there was the video that surfaced. It was a while back now, I think, of the Queen as a child giving the salute, the Sieg Heil or whatever salute sort of thing.
Yes.
And there was that, and of course, well, it's not widely known. I'd like to say it should be. They only changed their name to Windsor in 1917 because of anti-German sentiment in the British Empire because of World War One and such. Obviously, the English didn't really like the Germans and didn't like the idea of a German family ruling over them, so they changed it to a more English-sounding name, Windsor.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
Saxe, Coburg, and Gotha before.
So right here, I'm looking at is the Sun 1933 film shows Edward the Eighth teaching this Nazi salute to the Queen, and she's definitely doing it. The Royal Highnesses. So then we think about that, and then we think about Prince Harry, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Prince Harry, Nazi. Yeah, so we have this picture of him probably in his 20s, early 20s, late teens, something like that. And again,
Yeah, I've got the thing here. It says Prince Harry has apologised for wearing a swastika armband to a fancy dress party. He's got the sort of outfit on and that.
yeah, man. It's like you were telling me, like you can't get this at a store. So,
No.
where did he get that? Why is he wearing it? Why is his mother or grandmother, doing the Sig Heil? So he's wearing this, and then you wanted to talk about how they changed their name in the 17th, in 1917?
1917.
Yeah. So if we look here, it says, you can go ahead and read if you want to about
Yeah,
that.
you can just see on the Wikipedia of the House of Saxe, Coburg, and Gotha, it says that it was founded by Ernest Anton, the 6th Duke of Saxe, Coburg, Saalfeld, and it has been the royal house of several European monarchies.
Hmm.
So it's not just the United Kingdom. It was Belgium, Portugal, Bulgaria, the Indian Empire. So it's lots of different things. And I say they changed the name because of anti-German sentiment.
So they changed the name because they didn't want to sound too German.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that about Prince Harry, the reason I wanted that was to draw attention to the hypocrisy with this Count Dankula chap who made the joke with his dog. He made his little cute dog do a Sieg Heil, and he said it was to make the dog not cute. And he's been charged with hate crime. So this chap who's blatantly making a joke and having a laugh has been charged with a hate crime. And then you've got Prince Harry's actually wearing a Nazi uniform, and it was sort of, I wouldn't say brushed under, but sort of made out like, oh, it was only a joke and all of this, and it was let off. It's just not fair. It's just a blatant double standard.
Yeah, so we look at, so nothing, you're telling me nothing happened. You were breaking up a little bit. But you're telling me that nothing happened to Prince Harry, correct?
Yeah.
Nothing happened to him. And then Count Dankula, dog. So yeah, YouTuber Count Dankula, who taught dog Nazis salute, convicted for hate crime.
Oh, yeah. See, it's just he's been convicted of a hate crime for it. He could face prison. He could go to jail for it. I mean, have you ever seen Fawlty Towers? I bet anyone who's British will know what that is. John Cleese, famous comedian. The Germans come to stay at the hotel, and he says, "I'll do the funny walk," and he puts his fingers up like a moustache, and he starts walking around, kicking his legs up really high in the air and straight, doing a Nazi walk. And that's mocking the Nazis too. Should we go and arrest him? He's probably in his 80s or 90s now. Do you know what I mean? It's not
I know who
fair.
John Cleese is. Yeah, I know who that is. He's a comedian.
Yeah. He did 40 Towers, and he was doing this German thing, and like I say, mocking Hitler and all that. Because that's what this chap with the pug's doing. He's taking the piss out of Nazis. He's not, he's not some right-wing Nazi, white supremacist sort of chap, is he? You know what I mean? He's
Right.
just having a joke.
Right, yeah. So he just posted of a dog, not even himself doing it.
But he's
And
saying gas the Jews. I mean, yeah, it is offensive, but it's a joke. That's
correct.
what comedy can be. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's all about, you can't say certain things even though, what he was saying was wrong. It's not
Yeah.
it's not right to say. Nobody wants to say that, but to be convicted,
But it's
to be
yeah, but it's
arrested,
yeah.
and then
And it's a joke. It's only a joke.
it's a joke, correct? So, I mean,
Mm.
you have a royal family whose last name's changed, you know, from being German to British. So it's probably not even their real name. They probably really are Nazis.
I don't know. I don't want to say they are or they aren't.
I know you don't. I know you
All that
don't.
with the Bush. There's all that with the Bush family as well, and things about them. The Operation Paperclip and all these different things that we can obviously discuss at greater length at another time.
For sure. Yeah, that's that's a whole nother story to get into with Operation
Yeah, it
Paperclip.
certainly is.
That's crazy. We can
Yeah,
go over.
obviously,
Is there
that's too long
anything
for now.
you want to go over? Anything else? We can touch on whatever you want to, man. Not a problem. Anything on your mind? We could talk about what's going on in Britain with.
Well, yeah. I mean, there is a couple of other things, but we'll do that another time, like separately, maybe like later on. But just quickly, sort of what's going on over here is Theresa May sort of saying that she might not require Parliament vote to strike in Syria. I mean, I don't really know. I'm not brushed up on laws and things, but I can just give you headlines from things like the Daily Telegraph here. Why Theresa May doesn't need a vote in Parliament to bomb Syria. That's just a headline there. But then the most recent one I said was that Theresa May is waiting for Donald Trump's word. She's waiting for his approval before she does anything. So we might be okay for this time. Trust the plan and hope that Trump just sees us through, and it's not, it's not our worst fears. It's not anything like that. It's going to be okay. But the general population are sort of buying into the fear. Everyone that sort of I've encountered at work and things are believing that it's going to kick off, and we're sort of days away from war, and we're going to get dragged into this, and talking about the Bay of Pigs, and sort of a lot of people are grounded, but the masses are buying it, I must say.
Yeah. I don't know much about Theresa May. What's her backstory, or what are people thinking about her? Is she's part of the cabal?
Well, I would say so from the way she's acting. She's going on about this, this poisoning that happened. That you talked about that before. Her stance on that tells me that she is a puppet herself.
Yes.
She's not, working in our best interests. Certainly, I don't think sort of many of them are. We need a Donald Trump of our own, somebody we can elect that's going to sort of look out for us and improve things on our end.
For
People
sure.
don't like her though. Pretty much everyone I speak to, whether they're saying that they're Tory or they're Labour, are saying they don't like her and she's got to go.
So right here, I was telling you earlier, this was today at 5:30, and it says Russian military says Britain staged deadly chemical attack on Syria. It says the dubious assessment is likely to inflame global tensions 5 days after the poison gas assault on rebel-held town of Douma. Opposition activists said Syrian government helicopters dropped barrel bombs with toxic gas on helpless civilians. Government officials say Syria and Russia denied any involvement in the attack. Russian's defense military spoke and said the chemical attack claims were bogus. So I'm trying to see where it says. Right here it says our UN ambassador Nikki Haley, my ex-governor of South Carolina, slammed Russia in a scathing address to the UN Security Council. We know who did this. Our allies know who did this, Haley said. Britain's UN ambassador forcefully denied Russia's claim, calling it bizarre and a blatant lie. that Britain has no involvement and would never have any involvement in the use of chemical weapons.
Well, yeah, one thing I'll interject is that this is the same British government that said that spy that was found padlocked inside of a suitcase did it himself, that he put himself in there. That was their assessment. He probably did it himself. He was padlocked inside of a suitcase, dead.
Right, right.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. They're full of shit. They'll lie straight through their teeth and just, blatantly lie to you and
Yeah.
come with a completely false story. Yeah, they will.
They're trying to start World War III. I mean, I don't really know because I don't think China, Russia, or America wants to have World War III. So
Well,
something's afoot. What do you
yeah,
think?
I found this as well. It says the alliance raided the facility near Knockmill Down Mountains in Ireland, right?
Hmm.
And it says the cabal recently failed to attempt to ignite World War III in Syria, and it has now backfired on them. The alliance informed Assad to locate the source of the chemical false flag attack. Assad's military was successful in locating the source of the chemical weapons, and it goes on to say that they've turned the tables on the cabal with this situation in Syria, and Trump has been instructed by the alliance to bluff a war with Russia in order to crash the stock market. Putin is aware of this and is playing his bad cop role as instructed by the alliance. There will be no war, as both Trump and Putin are members of the alliance. It is a scripted geopolitical play to force the stock market to collapse. I mean, it goes on to say what the plan's going to be, and if you want to carry on with it, that's fine, or we can leave it up for
No, no,
people
no, no, no.
to
Continue
dig
on.
into themselves,
Continue.
Okay, it says once the stock market collapses, Trump will introduce the gold standard, which already exists as the HR 5404 bill through executive action. The I'm not sure, RV does not need the USN to be announced nor the stock market to collapse.
That's the
RV
reset.
exchanges-
RV is the reset.
The reset.
I believe so.
Well, it says RV exchanges redemptions will be processed through the new financial system at banks and redemption centres. Your private appointment will be acquired via the 800 numbers. So yeah, we'll leave that up for people to look at. I mean, I can't verify the source or say anything like that, but it's interesting to, it's interesting to read and have a look at it, isn't it, to consider.
Yeah, basically they have to crash the market. That's part of the plan. They have to crash the market to reset the American currency to get out of the
Like the Fed. The Fed's
well, yeah, you have to get the Fed, and they have to get out of the global banking system, which is the federal, part of the Federal Reserve, and they have to do this because Trump wants to make America wealthy and be the powerhouse again, instead of being this third world country. I mean, we're fighting back, but we're go ahead.
So I like this idea of them taking out, these DUMBs, these deep underground military bases and that.
Yes.
Because they don't have those places to retreat to. They can't start a nuclear war or anything. You know what I mean? They can't drop the big bombs and start kicking off if they've got nowhere to shelter and hide themselves, can they?
Oh, absolutely not. They know where everyone is. It's just a matter of it's just so intricate that they have to go this way. I mean, they have to go the most technical route, because if they don't do all this correctly, then it's just going to happen again. They have to do this precisely.
Well, that's right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean that's just what they have to do to to not let this ever happen again. It's supposed to be 1,000 years of peace if we can get things in order. But
well, yeah, that sounds good, doesn't it?
yeah, it sounds amazing. So how safe is the UK? It's pretty dangerous.
Well, if you're somewhere like me, it's not too bad. I mean, there are parts of my town that you don't want to be going on at night, I suppose, and it can be. There is. Well, now I think about it, it's not great. There is stabbings and stuff like that sort of in the area around me. I live quite close to Birmingham, and there's a lot of stuff going on there. London's not safe at all, but it doesn't matter what City Khan says. There was it's overtook New York now for stabbings and that. you know, it's sort of happening quite all the time. People are sort of getting used to that, to the way it is, and you know, it's no good.
Yeah, man. People. What were we saying earlier? Was it 8 stabbings a day?
I think I don't know if it was 9 stabbings, but I don't know if it was in a day or if it was in like a day and a half. I can't remember the exact time period. You know, the exact time frame.
Yeah.
There was Carlson was talking about it with what's that woman's name? Katie Hopkins, is it?
Yes.
I saw that the other day. This was only recently. This was like I think it was the other week, like last week or something.
Mm-hmm. It's dangerous out there, man. They don't want your, they want that Second Amendment taken away over here.
Well, it's not just that, is it? It goes a lot deeper than that. They want you in fear. You know, they want you to be scared of going outside. They don't want you to band together with your fellow men and your neighbours and all this and come together. They want you to be scared of each other. It's, you know,
yes.
Keep your head down when you walk across the street and don't look at people, and they want fear so they can, sort of, feed off it and all this, and they want to keep you confused and bewildered so you can't figure out what's going on.
100%. I totally agree with that.
The more time you're worried about what's going on, getting scared about this and terrorism and, stabbings, and the more time you're chasing your tail, you're not sitting down, researching, studying, thinking, contemplating, and coming to conclusions.
Right.
And finding yourself as well. I'm a big believer that they're always trying to find ways to take up your spare time. Small ways, and it builds up over time, so you have less time to sit and find yourself and, reflect and, sort of work on who you are and things like that.
Yeah, man. What do you think about this HRC video?
Oh, well, I think if it exists, it needs to be released somewhere, because if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. That's up to you, innit? I mean, I'm not saying that I am or I'm not, but that's the thing, and it needs to be there so it can be verified by people and all that. But I don't think it will be released on, like, Twitter or Facebook or any of that sort of thing, because of the extreme nature. I think if they're going to drop, I think they will probably drop something on these media platforms. That's why they're testing them, as you were saying earlier. But I don't think it'll be that. It'll be something else that is also quite damaging to the the establishment or whoever it's going to be, or Hillary Clinton. But I don't think they'll drop that sort of video you were touching on the other day with the child and that on social media.
I was just looking at. Do you know what Backpage is?
No, I saw the headlines on.
Backpage is in America, and it's basically like, it's almost like a Craigslist for like prostitution.
Right.
That for somehow it was legal. I don't know how they got really around it, but the guy that created that was part of the FBI.
Right, no way.
Swear, I read it today.
They were running. The FBI was running like the fucking. Oh, sorry, man.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm trying my best not to cuss you.
I know. It's okay.
Yeah. The FBI were running the child porn websites and that, weren't they? Did you see that before?
No, I did not see that.
I'll find it now, man. Talk about something else or whatever, and I'll just quickly.
Yeah, so like right here, I pulled up this anonymous post from 4/12/18 yesterday, and it says, what needs to be made public is that Facebook is not just selling data and tracking users. They are a platform for human trafficking. Memes connecting Facebook to trafficking, calling for congressional investigation into it will be helpful. And yeah, I mean, they get all your data, and people who are criminals and who are pimps and people who traffic humans, they have a platform, man. They have code just like the pedophiles. They have the same lingo, the same talk, where they can reach more people through the internet. And if they're stupid enough to use Facebook for something like that, then,
That's what that Ray Chandler thing was on Instagram. I think that's what that Q was related to with that. It was a woman, that Ray Chandler. It was a girl.
Rachel Chandler. Yeah, I messed that up. Yeah.
Yeah. What's it here? I look, the FBI ran a child porn site to catch predators, and now the accused are crying foul.
Wow.
The Seattle Times judge outraged. Judge said FBI acted outrageously by running dark web child porn site. And then you've got DOJ approved the child pornography sting. They were running the. So the FBI likely ran nearly half the porn websites on the dark web in 2016.
Yeah, the FBI needs to just get just eradicated and then built back up. It's got to be cleaned.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I think that's about it, man. I think we covered a good bit of stuff. I don't want to go too long for everybody. This was another trial run. Next time I want to get us on a good system where I can get side by side screens. But I think the
Yeah,
sound should be good and everything, and we'll do it again, man.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I say, there's
Sure,
a couple more things like that we can like do later or next time as well.
for sure, 100%, man. Yeah, we'll see how this one goes, see how it
Yeah, yeah,
people
sure.
react to it, and then we'll go from there. But man, I appreciate you
Yeah, that's it.
talking with me, man. And
Yeah, yeah, no problem.
I want you to be safe out there. And anybody who found this informative, if you want to click that blue bell to get notifications, I am shadow banned. My friend Chad here told me that he doesn't get notifications, and he's a
I was getting
subscriber.
some,
You're getting some,
not all.
but not all. Yeah, and
Yeah.
um, yeah, if you guys want to give me a thumbs up, click the bell just to get notifications, and please subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And you guys be safe out there. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you next time. All right. Bye.